Hi everybody, Natasha Koch here with the Van City Home Team, and here we are, Van City Scoop Live. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a topic that isn't very common to chat about in real estate, or not in this much detail anyway. Hi Chelsea. We're going to talk about house insurance. Hi Kelly, thanks for joining. So we're going to talk about house insurance and first-time buyers house insurance. So there's many components, obviously, we've been talking about in purchasing a home for the first time. So one of those is mortgage approval, working with a realtor and how you should choose your realtor, some of the questions to ask, finding a real estate lawyer. And so these are all topics that I'm talking about. You know, some of you out there that have purchased before, you know, obviously you already have this knowledge, but I want to sort of spell things out for first-time buyers, so that way, you know, if they have any questions, hopefully I'll be able to answer them. So home insurance is important. When I do a real estate transaction with my clients, often, you know, the bank requires you to have house insurance. And so, you know, a lot of buyers, I find they'll just go out and they'll get the house insurance. And hi, Al, and hi, Robert. But they don't really actually know what type of insurance policy they should get. And by no means am I an insurance broker, so I would definitely recommend talking to a broker. But there's a few things that you should know or that you should look out for when you're getting house insurance. Hi, Olga. Thanks for joining. So I've made some notes, so if you don't mind, I'm going to follow along. So and that way I don't miss anything. So information on getting an insurance quote. So there's a lot of insurance companies out there, just like there's a lot of lawyers, a lot of notaries, a lot of mortgage brokers, and a lot of realtors, of course. So there's things that you need to ask for when you're getting a quote. So the insurance company, first of all, they're going to want to know things like your possession date. So those of you that don't know what a possession date is, it's the date that you actually take possession of the property. So for insurance, generally there's a time where you actually take possession of that property, and that's when your insurance needs to kick in. There's been cases where something's happened to the property right in the midst of it changing hands and to the new ownership, and there was not proper insurance coverage to handle those problems. So you want to make sure that your insurance coverage is implemented on the correct date and time. Next would be the name of property title. So basically it's referred to as title, but it's usually the name of the home buyer, whoever the home buyer is or are. And there might be two people that are on the mortgage or on the title. So that could impact your rate. Prior insurance history. So maybe you've had apartment insurance before, or you've had insurance on another property. And so insurance companies generally want to see if you've had any previous claims. This, of course, could also affect your rate. Common insurance coverages. So let's talk about some of the coverages and must-haves in house insurance. So, you know, usually we just kind of go in and we trust the insurance broker to know what, you know, we should have, but we should have things as a homeowner like sewer backup. So that occurs when there's like large water problems from your drainage system that occur, like sewage or debris that cause a health concern. So sometimes, you know, you can have a backup of your sewage line and it has, you know, a health effect. So you want to make sure that you've got coverage for that. Overland water coverage. So a lot of people think that, you know, when their insurance policy indicates that it's, you know, covered for flood, flood really is flood damage, like caused by, you know, an earthquake, flood, like extra coverage for that. But overland is, you know, water. Actually, I looked up overland because I wasn't even sure myself. So overland insurance is, you know, overflow of like lakes or, you know, stormy weather where there's water seepage coming into your basement. And you want to make sure that, you know, if you're buying a property that's on a lake or a river and there's severe weather, you want to make sure that you have this coverage. Personal liability. The coverage helps if a homeowner is held responsible for any kind of personal injury or damage caused by a third party. So let's say if, I don't know, if someone slipped on a walkway, the homeowner could be sued if the person was injured. So that's kind of funny because, often realtors door knock. So I guess you want to make sure that you have proper coverage in case there's a realtor knocking on your door and slips on your walkway. Guaranteed building replacement costs. So replacement cost coverage, it could help to pay to replace your home if in the event the home is completely damaged. So, if you have a fire and it's deemed to be 100%, gone, basically you would get your 100% building replacement cost covered. There's also something called single limit. So single limit coverage is the total value of the home, detached structures like the garage, and also includes any personal property. So I just actually had insurance claim ourselves because our underground garage was broken into, and so I'm actually having to go through to file a claim for some lost damage, or some lost items, stolen items actually. And so you should also check on personal property insurance. So, people don't know that there's limits. So hi Yvonne, hi Blanche, and hi Doug, thanks for joining. There's personal limits. So for example, I had a really expensive mountain bike, and there's only up to a certain limit that the insurance will cover. Plus your deductible. Make sure that you check on what your deductible is, because it may not even be worth filing a claim to recover. So there's some optional insurance coverage. The one that I just mentioned. So theft, and also identity theft. It's happening more and more. We use the internet a lot and all of our information is out there. So identity theft coverage is an option to add to your insurance policy. Home equipment breakdown. People don't often know that you can actually have your furnace or, large appliances covered, so that in case they break down, you can, get repair cost or replacement cost. Service lines, sewer lines, water lines, those kind of things. I mean, there are things that aren't covered unless you get the extra coverage, such as earthquake insurance is definitely an extra coverage. So given the fact that we live in BC on the fault line, earthquake coverage is probably a really good idea. Frozen pipes, not so much, although this past winter it was pretty cold. But you want to get extra coverage if you're living in a province where it freezes and you're worried about your main water line freezing. Flooding, and that's flooding due to, water coming in from outside, or, even just broken dishwashers, burst pipes inside. Vacant properties. If you buy an investment property and you don't have tenants in it right away and it's sitting empty, you want to, be careful and make sure that you've got proper coverage. And it doesn't pay to not be honest with your insurance broker. So one thing I can say is, don't try to nickel and dime and save a little bit of money by underestimating your coverage, because you never know when you might have something happen and you may need the full coverage, and then you won't be qualifying because for whatever reason you didn't give all the information. Insurance companies may not cover if you haven't kept up with your home. So maintenance is really important. If you haven't done your due diligence in order to maintain things, they may not, accept your claim. So these adjusters, they don't give out money freely. Sorry to all the insurance people that are watching right now, and then, as I said, certain valuables, coverage on jewelry, furs. I don't have any furs. I don't know if anybody would have any furs nowadays, but there's limits on all of that stuff. So you want to make sure that you find out what those limits are. So basically that is the gist of what I have to share with you today about insurance coverages. You do need insurance as a requirement usually when you get a mortgage, and that's just to protect the mortgage company's investment, obviously. But you want to protect yourself as well, and your realtor will be able to answer any questions about the structure of the building. So that way, if your insurance company wants to know the year and date of the roof or any improvements that have been made, your realtor should be able to give you that information as well. So all of you first-time buyers that are watching and all of you that are just interested in watching, I hope that you learned something from my Van City Scoop today, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.